Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to discuss about how to use Ubuntu operating system for shell scripting and Unix programming. In our last tutorial, we discussed about how to install Ubuntu operating system on VisualBox. Now, if you are a Windows user, maybe you are using Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7, or any other type of operating system that is not in Linux based, you can install Ubuntu on your VisualBox, and with that you can continue this tutorial with us. And as well, you can, if you are a Windows 10 user, now Windows 10 supports Bash and Shell scripting as well, so you can join us with that and continue learning this tutorial. Okay, now the first thing we are going to talk about now is we are going to talk about introduction to Unix shell program. Okay, a Unix shell program interprets user command, which are either directly entered by the user or which can be read from a file called a shell script or a shell program. Now, what do we mean by this? In Unix and shell scripting programming, a shell program is an interpreter. It is not a compiler. It is not a programming language that compiles a written program before execution. In shell programming, the operating system, it interprets the command that the user entered. So there is no need for compiling before execution of command. And we are going to discuss about type of shell, but basically, originally we will be using shell, this bash shell. As for this tutorial, we are going to talk more, and we'll be using this bash shell to run our program. Okay, and we are going to discuss about how to know location of bash shell. We are going to talk about how to create a shell file on desktop. We are going to talk about creating hello world script in your Word. This is in your, we are going to create hello.sh. This is an extension. This sh is an extension for your shell. Okay, we are going to discuss about accessing permission for execution of your script, of your command. And we are going to learn how to execute your script in terminal environment. Okay, now let's start. The first thing I would like to do is that you need to open your terminal. Okay, you click on start on terminal. Yeah, you can open it directly like this, or you press Ctrl+Alt+C command to open your terminal. Okay, now also terminal is open. This is a terminal environment. Okay, also terminal is open. Now the first thing we like to do now is we want to check the type of shell that we have. Okay, now to do that, basically we'll be using bash shell scripting, but let us check the type of shell we have. Now to check the type of shell we have, we are going to use a command that is supported by our shell scripting. We use cat. Okay, we use cat to check /etc/ and shells. Okay, this command, we are telling this system to execute this command and give us the type of shell, all type of shell that we have. etc all. The type of something we want to check is shell. The command we are using, the function is cat. So click enter. Now you can see it said valid login. It simply means your execution was successful, and it will give you all the type of shell that we have on your system, that you have on your operating system that was installed on your computer. The first one is bin sh. The second one is bash. The third one is user bin bash. The third one, the next one is bin arrow bash. The next, yeah, we have all these bash. Mainly, we have sh bash, arrow bash, and d bash and dash. Okay. Now we are going to, since we will be using this bash shell, so I'm not going to focus on the other type of shell, but I'm going to explain this bash shell for you to understand it. Now, the first shell we have here is sh shell. Okay, it is also known, it is also called a bound shell. Bound shell. Okay, it is the first and original shell used on Unix, operating system, on Mac operating system, on Linux operating system, and other operating system Linux like. Yeah, it is the first original first operating system. Then the next type of shell is bash shell. Okay, we are going to learn how to use this bash shell. Our program will be run using this bash shell. Now, this bash shell is also known as a born again shell. It is an reinvented, like innovation of the sh shell, of the born shell. The born shell was the first shell made, then a new implementation and innovation happened, and the bash shell was created using this same terminology of the born shell. So this is the born again shell. It has some new features that this sh shell doesn't have. So it can be called a bash shell, and at the same time we can call it a born again shell. Okay, so this is how to know the type of, you use cat etc shell with // to know the type of shell that we have in our system, in our machine. Now, the next thing we want to look about is how to know where bash is located in your system. So to know the location of your bash on your system, you use wish command. Then what do you wish to know? Bash, wish bash. So if I click enter, yeah, it will tell me the location of the bash shell, because we'll be using bash shell. Okay, the location of the bash shell, out of all these location, the location of this bash shell that can run on my program is user bin bash. It simply means if I try to use bin bash directly, it will give me an error. So I have to use this very one that contain my bash shell, user bin bash. So you need to take note of this down. On your system, the location might be different, but you need to take note of the location that is detected. So we use the wish bash to know the location which our bash shell is on our machine. Now, after knowing the location, the next thing is let's clear the terminal. Okay, let's start a new fresh things. So to clear, you just type clear and click enter. So it has cleared all the operation that we've previously performed. Now, to navigate to the desktop environment using the terminal, we use dr command, just like the window. Okay, now directory. Okay, that is for directory. Now, for us to create, we want to create a new file on our desktop environment. So to create a new file on our desktop environment, what we are going to do now is we are going to use cd. Okay, to locate the directory. Then with all the directory that we want to open, desktop, we want to open desktop. Okay, then we use // It simply means that we want to open desktop environment. We want to perform something on the desktop environment. So I will click enter. It has opened. You see the desktop environment has been added. It simply means that it has opened. We are now on the desktop environment. Now, what do we want to do on the desktop environment? We want to create a new script file. Okay, we want to create a new file on the desktop environment. Now, the new file we are going to create is, let's say, the new file is begin. We want to create a file the name of the file should be begin. Now to create a new file, we use a command, a function called touch. We use touch to create a new file in our shell scripting Unix programming. In our shell scripting, we use touch function to create a file, a new file. So after that, then we type the name of the file that we want to create. Okay, we can say begin as the name of the file. After begin, then you type the extension of the file you want to create. Since it is a shell file, so the extension is sh for shell. So if I should click enter, you will see a new file was created on my desktop environment as begin, begin.sh. It simply means that this file is running on shell. It is having a shell extension. So if you want to run this file again, we'll be able to execute and write some program into it. Okay, so that is how to create a shell file. That is how to create a shell file, a shell script file. Now the next thing we want to do is that we want to know about this file that was created. What operation can we perform on the file? Now to know the type of operation that can be performed on the file, we are going to say ls for list minus al, all operation that can be performed on the file. So if I click enter, now when I click enter, it will give me this. Okay, on this, okay, I'm coming. Now on this begin, this is our file, begin. You don't have to concern about this. This was because there was another file on the desktop as sh, so you don't have to concern about this. But this begin now in your system for the first time. Okay, this begin we have read write. This is for the this read write is for you. It simply means you can read the file, this begin file, you can read it, the system can read it and can write something on it. Then the next one is also read write. This is for the group. And the next one is read only. It simply means the system can only read it. So the system can only perform these three things on the operation of the file. Okay, it can only read, write, and read again on the file operation. So that is what it means. But in your own system, it may not be RW again. It may be something else. It may be a number, let's say 4. Then we have 0. The first 4, the first digit is for read. The next digit is for read and write. The next digit is also for read and write. 0 means there is nothing to perform. Okay. So let's continue. Now we know about this better. This read and write, we know about this better. When we get to operation, writing a script, yeah, we know about all this function better. Okay. Now to create hello world script, to print hello world or create hello world script in our file that was created. To do that, what we need to do is now to create an hello world in the file in the begin, that's sh file that was created, we need to create an hello world. Now to do that, we have to open, this is our file, you right click on it, then you open it. Normally you can open it with Visual Studio Code, Atom, or the default editor. So here I'll be using the default editor. So I will click on open. Okay, it has opened my file. Okay, now the standard practice is to use hash and this bang. Okay, like this, it is called shebang or hash bang. Okay, by default, it is standard to use this to begin our program. Okay, so after writing the hash bank or the share bank, then the next thing is to select the location of our bash file, okay, that we want to run. It's help interpreter to know which type of shell that we want to use to run our script. So for that, we have taken note of our bash location. So we just type it again, / user for USR as our location, then bin / then bash. Okay. Then the next thing is to write the command you want to execute. So the command we want to execute is hello world. Hello world. Okay. But to execute this command hello world, we use a function called echo. Okay. Echo is used like to point to execute this hello world command. We use echo to execute command in shell scripting. Now, after this, after writing this command, this code, the next thing to do is to save our file. Let's save our file, then close the file. Okay. Now, after closing the file, now let us run our file. Now, to run our file on the terminal, we are going to use /. Then we type the name of the file that was created, which is begin.sh. So we type begin.sh and click enter. Now, if you look at this, it said permission denied. It simply means that our system machine was our terminal operating system is not able to execute this command. It is not able to execute this program. Why was it not able to execute the program? The reason is that this file, this begin.sh file, can only be read. We only have permission to read and write and to read again. We don't have permission to execute it. Now, we need to create a new permission to execute. We need a permission to execute. We need to give our system machine a permission to execute the bash file, this begin.sh file. Now to do that, we are going to use a command known as shmod, shmod plus x is for execute. It simply means that we are telling the system to call this execute. Okay, now what do we want to give permission to execute? We want to give it to our file, begin.sh. Now, if I click enter, and now let's check the status of the permission of our file. Okay, to do that, I'm going to use ls again, ls minus al. Okay, now if we check this now, the color of our file begin.sh has changed to green. Previously, it was white, which is only red. Now it is green, which is now if you look at this text, it has changed from RW to read, write, execute. For the user, read, write, execute for group, and read and execute for ordinary user. So it simply means that now we have permission to execute our program. Now let's run and execute our program to see if this is successful. And don't forget, if you are running the program for the first time, okay, your read and write and execute might not be like this. It may be a digit. Then by this time it will be 4.4, then 4 again, or any other digit. It simply means that previously this was 0, but now it is 4. It simply means that it has been granted a permission. So this can be a digit for the first time. So let's erase this now and run our program to see if this permission was successful. So // then the name of our file begin.sh. Okay, so let's run our program. Now our program was run successful. Okay, it simply means that our permission is granted. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Don't forget to like and share our content. In the next tutorial, we are going to know more about our shell scripting programming language and other functions that can be performed through it. Thank you.